In today's exercise, I've given you two scales that you need to find the notes for using the circle of fifths. So you can either give this a go now and download the PDF answers below this video, or you can stick with me and I'll take you through the process step by step. If you've forgotten how to do this, do revisit the lesson where I do go through it. Okay, so to start with, we've got the G major scale. So we find the G on the outer edge of the circle, so here it is. We write down the 7 notes of G major, so that will be G, A, B, C, D, E and F. So all we need to do now is work out if it's got any sharps or flats in it. Well, a G is to the right of the circle, so it's going to have sharps in it. We know the C doesn't have any sharps or flats in it. And then as we move around the circle clockwise, we add a sharp to each note. So because we're on a G, we know that the G major scale will have 1 sharp in it. Now the order of sharps starts on an F, and as we go clockwise around the circle, we add another sharp to each scale. Because we're in G major and we know we've only got 1 sharp, that will be an F sharp. So therefore, the notes of a G major scale are G, A, B, C, D, E and F sharp. Next up, we had an F major. Now an F sits to the left of the C around the circle. So this is going to be a flats scale. So first up, we write down the 7 notes of the scale. So we've got F, G, A, B, C, D and E. We know that the C has no flats or sharps, and then if we work anti-clockwise around the circle, we add a flat each time we get to a note. So because we're on the F, we know that the F major scale will just have 1 flat in it. Now the order of flats starts on B flat, and you work your way around the circle anti-clockwise, adding a flat to each scale. Because the F just has 1 flat, this will be B flat. So the notes of the F major scale are F, G, A, B flat, C, D and E. In today's exercise, I've given you 2 more scales to find the notes for using the circle of fifth. So we've got the D major and the E major. So starting with the D major, so we find the D from the outer circle and then we write down the 7 notes of the D major, which will be D, E, F, G, A, B and C. All we need to do now is find out whether it's got any sharps in it or flats. Now it's to the right of the C, so we know this will be a sharp scale. We also know that C has no sharps in it. And then if we work our way clockwise around the circle, we add a sharp to each note. So for a D, we know this scale will have 2 sharps in it. Now the order of sharps starts at F and we work our way around the circle clockwise. So we can see that a D will have 2 sharps in it, and those sharps will be the first 2 sharps from F, which are F and C. So the D major scale has 2 sharps in it, F sharp and C sharp. So it's D, E, F sharp, G, A, B and C sharp. Next up we have the E major. So we look for the E in the outer circle, in the outer edge of the circle, there it is. We add our 7 notes, E, F, G, A, B, C and D. This is a sharp scale because it's on the right hand side of the circle. So we know that C has no sharps in it. And as we work our way clockwise around the circle, we can see that E will have 4 sharps. So starting on that F, which is where all of the sharps start from, we can see that E needs 4. So the first 4 will be F, C, G and D. So therefore the E major has E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp and D sharp. In today's exercise, I've given you 2 more scales to find the notes of using the circle of fifths. So we've got B major and D flat major. So starting with B major, we find the B from the outer circle. There it is. We write down our 7 notes of the scale, B, C, D, E, F, G and A. And now we need to find out how many sharps are going to be in it. We know it's sharps because B is on the right-hand side of the circle. So we know that C has no sharps in it, and we know that we add the sharps one by one as we move around the circle clockwise. So if you look at B, we can see that there will be 5 sharps in it. So what 5 sharps will they be? Well, the order of sharps starts from an F, and then these sharps are added one by one as you move clockwise around the circle. So a B major scale will have an F, C, G, D and A sharp, 5 sharps. So therefore the B major scale is B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp and A sharp. Next we have a D flat major. So we do the same thing, we look for the D flat in the outer circle. You can see here it's on the left hand side of the circle. So we're dealing with a flats key. So first up we write down the 7 notes of the scale, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. We need to know how many flats are in this scale. Well, we know that the C has no flats in it, and if we work our way anti-clockwise around the circle, we add a flat to each note we get to. So if we look down at the D flat, we can see that this scale will have 5 flats. Now the order of flats starts from B and works B flat and works its way anti-clockwise around the circle. We need 5 flats for D flat. So those 5 flats will be B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat and G flat. So therefore the notes of the D flat major are D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat and C. In today's exercise, I've given you 2 more scales to find the notes for using the circle of fifths. So to start with, we're looking at the A major. Well, we look for the A in the outer circle, there it is. We write down our 7 notes of the A major scale, A, B, C, D, E, F and G. We know it's a sharp scale because it's on the right-hand side of the circle, but we need to work out which sharps are in this scale. Well, we know the C major has no sharps or flats in it, and if we work our way clockwise around the circle, we add a sharp to each scale note as we go. So for an A, as you can see, it will have 3 sharps in it. So now we just need to work out which sharps are in it. So we know the order of sharps start from F and then work their way around the circle in a clockwise direction. For the A sharp, we are just looking for 3 sharps. So these 3 sharps will be F, C and G. So therefore, the notes of the A major scale will be A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp and G sharp. Next up, we have the E flat major. So first up, we look for the E flat in the outer circle, there it is. We are then going to write down the 7 notes of the scale, E, F, G, A, B, C and D. So now we need to work out how many flats are in this scale. Well, we know that the C has no flats in it, and then we add a flat to each note as we go anti-clockwise around the circle. So if you look at the E flat, you can see that it has 3 flats in it. Now the order of flats starts from B and moves anti-clockwise around the circle. We're looking for 3 flats, which means we'll be using the B flat, E flat and A flat. So the notes of an E flat major will be E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C and D. In today's exercise, I've given you two more major scales to find the notes for using the circle of fifths. So to start with, we've got F sharp major. So we look for the F sharp in the outer circle. There it is at the bottom. We're going to write down the 7 notes of an F sharp major. So that will be F, G, A, B, C, D and E. Now we know this is a sharp scale because it's called F sharp. So we don't need to worry about it being on the right or the left. It's directly at the bottom, but it's called F sharp. And the G flat is called a G flat. So there's a clue in the name. The F sharp major will be a sharp scale. But we need to find out how many sharps are in it. Well, we know the C has no sharps and we know it moves around the circle in a clockwise direction, adding a sharp as it goes. If we get all the way around to the F sharp, you can see there are 6 sharps in this scale. Now we know that the order of sharps starts on an F and moves clockwise. We know we need 6 sharps, so these first 6 sharps are F, C, G, D, A and E. So therefore the notes of an F sharp major scale will be F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp and E sharp. Next up we have the G flat major scale. Now this scale is actually identical to the F sharp major scale to play. It uses the same black and white notes for each of these scales, but this is an enharmonic note, which means it is the same note but it's called different things. It can be an F sharp or a G flat. So even though the notes are the same that you play, they are called different things. The F sharp has sharps in it, but the G flat has flats in it. What we need to know is how many and which ones they are. So first up, let's write down the 7 notes. It will be G, A, B, C, D, E and F. We know it's a G flat because it's called the G flat major. So we know that the C has no flats in it, and we work anti-clockwise for flats to see how many flats we need. To get all the way down to the bottom, you can see the G flat major has 6 flats in it. Well, we know that the order of flats starts from B flat and works its way anti-clockwise around the circle. We need the first 6, so those 6 flats will be B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat and C flat. So the 7 notes of this scale are G flat, A flat, B flat, C flat, D flat, E flat and F.